Hello, my name is Lucas. This is Bit of Lit. It is the month of OcPoeber. We are celebrating Edgar Allan Poe for the first and only time. I don't know if I could last reading more Edgar Allan Poe next year. That's a year away, though, so we will see. There's plenty of material I have not covered and will not cover this month. And we can always go next month. But I want to change it up a little bit. We'll see. Anyway, I read a biographical novel based on Edgar Allan Poe's life by John Isaac Jones. It came out earlier this year. It is called A Quiet Madness. Now, if you are a fan of Edgar Allan Poe and you want to read a novel about him, not necessarily a biography, but a novel that is biographical in nature, a sort of historical fiction, then by all means this is for you. There's a lot of detailed research, and at the end of the book the author lets you know what he changed and what he took, what liberties he took, and there's a clear passion for the man himself, Edgar Allan Poe, who, you know, I think is a great writer. Not everything he wrote was God's gift to mankind, but you know, his poetry, Edgar Allan Poe's poetry, excellent. His reviews are scathing and hilarious, mean-spirited in many ways. It definitely gets across that the man had a dramatic life and a lot of troubles. That's about all I can say. In terms of the good things, I can't really recommend it unless you really want to read a historical novel about Edgar Allan Poe. The reason I can't is, well, there's a couple reasons. It oftentimes feels like the characters that are not Edgar are gravitating around Edgar, who also feels like he's only coming to life in each scene, if that makes any sense, because it feels like it lets you know, even with, you know, some of the liberties that he does take, it lets you know each thing that happened in his life or how it led up to that and whatever else. But some of these things, it feels like clutter, and we don't need it. Because this is not a biography, right? This is a a biographical novel. We're trying to tell a story following this man's life, which is quite dramatic, and that comes across clearly. It's a little too dramatic constantly in every scene, which already feels like its own mini scene, completely separate. And even in the book, there are these little separators to let you know we're moving on to a different scene in this chapter now. And even if they are related, it feels like now this is happening, now this is happening, and now this is happening, and now this is happening. And, you know, they might all be dramatic and have lots of things going on, but it's just dull and boring to read. And on top of that, it is largely dialogue. I mean, it's talking heads in every disconnected scene. It doesn't feel like anybody ever learns anything or Edgar learns anything. It just feels like he's moving to these different events that the author has written. Even though, yes, these are things that happened, or, you know, the author took some liberties, it just feels like he's coming to life in each scene, but not having lived his life. And yeah, it's just kind of not interesting in that way. Because everything is dramatic and disconnected, and everyone is just talking to each other in, you know, fairly simple language, and they all sort of bend to Edgar and see great things in him. And who knows? Maybe the baby I deliver will be famous one day. Paraphrased from something in the book when Edgar is delivered the morgue. Or the, well, anyway, it's a little nink and a nudge, a wink and a nudge there, you know what I'm saying? Thomas Jefferson, having high hopes for him and these kind of things. Certain moments like this could have been taken out to refine it and make it stronger, and less sort of dramatic and like, I know these things are sort of setting us up to know he would be great in many ways. His poetry, his reviews, some of his short stories are excellent. I love his novel, of course, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, blah, 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 blah. I have a review for that, and I said the whole title in that, so I will leave a link for that. Yeah, that's my main issue. It's talking heads, disconnected, highly dramatic scenes. There's never really a moment to breathe. The man has an amazing story to tell, and it just needed to be honed down so that Edgar could learn things and, maybe have the other characters actually breathe a little and be characters in themselves. The father does come pretty close. The adoptive father of Edgar Allan Poe does come fairly close to feeling like a human being. But we have the talking head situation, and it just, they need room to breathe, and some of this stuff just needs to get excised, and we need to find a through line for all these moments. And there is almost one, but it's just, whatever is there, there's so many extra details that could have been removed to make this story tighter. And having all this highly dramatic, which he does have a very dramatic life. Really, he does. But, yeah, it doesn't come across as moving as it could. And that's okay, you know? This was for the month of OcPoeber. This was the book I read for Edgar Allan Poe's life. I thought, well, it's new, should be interesting. Wasn't for me, might be for you. And that's it. I have nothing else to say. It just needed to be revised, cut down a bit, and made stronger in that way, and have the characters do more things, and he would, the drama of his life comes across. Just needed some honing. That's all. I keep saying the same thing. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.